What's going on, everybody? This is Chris Classic dropping a car vlog. I hope you guys and gals are having a wonderful day. Nobody tells you. Remember that God loves you, Christ loves you, and I love you as well. I'm praying that you guys and gals have a wonderful day. I live in the Midwest, Indiana, to be exact. So some of you guys and gals know that there was a storm that took last week. And honestly, I didn't think that it was going to hit Indiana as hard as it did. Trees on the ground, some were cut. A lot of people don't have power. Thank God we have power, but it cut off and then cut back on. It also contributed to us having to cancel our show that was supposed to happen last Saturday called The Big Payback. It was unfortunate that we had to do it. It was the best decision because the lack of power, and then people needed money for resources and stuff like that. So I am praying for people that are still affected, because people are still affected. There's people who have went basically a little over a week without power and stuff like that, and trying to get food and trying to get gas and stuff like that, and it is definitely a hassle. Praying for everybody affected. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, the Take It Home Podcast, where I talk about professional wrestling topics, and I put in my matches as classic out for professional wrestler for 14 years. I have a playlist of a lot of my matches, so please look at that and look at a lot of the matches that I've had. Also, C3 Ultimate Wrestling, that is me and my wife's professional wrestling company. Obviously, we do not see eye to eye and get along with everything that's going on with her being the leader of the board. But in the meantime, next show, we had to postpone the Big Payback, but we're going to have a new show October 3rd. Dyer, Indiana, Harris private venue called Thrillers, a tribute to one of the greatest entertainers. But Thrillers is the name of the wrestlers for the day, because I do think that these people are thrilling and are very entertaining and stuff like that. And the ones I don't like. What's going on, Raphael? God bless you. God bless you. Hope all is well. So make sure tickets are on sale now on Eventbrite. They are $5 off, but there'll be $5 more at the door. Bars. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Two things I wanted to talk about video, but we're gonna do one. Everything's great, sir. Let's talk about Edge. This morning I saw some comments about Edge. I can't tell you, and I ain't gonna lie, I didn't go deep into the interview or whatever like that, but some questions and topics were brought up about WWE and Edge. And Edge, one of the comments, I'll go with this one. He wants to retire in AEW. He doesn't want to retire in WWE. So my thoughts on that. I always say when wrestlers who have established themselves in WWE, they always go back in a capacity. They may not have their final match in WWE, but they'll eventually be called back to WWE, and they'll get into the Hall of Fame. They'll have a TV show. They'll do a documentary series. They'll always find a way to have legends. Shout out to you, SMP. Should come out to the show, man. Tickets are $5 off on Eventbrite. But it's going to be a wonderful show. I recommend all our shows, but every show I just try to get better from the last. And unfortunately, can't get better than the Big Payback because it didn't happen, but we are doing Thrillers. So, shout out to you. But a lot of wrestlers, they retire other spots, or they get injured, or they have some kind of illness where they can't wrestle anymore, and they return to WWE to be in the Hall of Fame, to sign a legends contract and stuff like that. And with Edge, that will probably happen with him. If he retires in AEW, that is his choice, obviously. Sting, he retired basically in AEW, but he was a WCW guy, but we know that WCW is no longer here. So honestly, it was understandable that he would retire at a spot where technically he was undefeated, and all he did was like tag matches and multi-man matches and stuff. So still, Edge probably won't be the last person who will retire in an AEW ring if AEW continues to stay on television. So still, I do feel like he would eventually go back to be inducted into the Hall of Fame because of what he did in WWE. Like I see guys like even Mark Henry. Mark Henry left and was in AEW for a bit. Now he's back with WWE. I can see Paul White doing that eventually too if he wants to. I could even see JR doing it. It is what it is. And some people are just loyal to AEW, and if that's who they are, then to each their own. I get his view. I feel like he did all he could do in WWE. I feel like he should retire where he's at safely. And him and Christian get in the Hall of Fame as a team. Well, I wouldn't say him and AEW is safely, but we'll talk about that. I think Edge will probably be inducted first, and then they will induct Edge and Christian as a tag, unless Edge requests that, and if they even let him have it. I think they will do Edge. I know that everybody talks about like Vince doesn't like Christian and stuff like that, but Triple H is his daddy's son, his son-in-law, but still, some of the things that Vince has done and created, molded, Triple H knows it too, and he does it, and he has things similar, things that don't make sense, things that are ego play, and things that are a falling line play, right? So I will say that. Edge also said that he wanted to go against Cena in Cena's retirement tour, and he said that Tony was for it. Tony wanted Edge to face John Cena in his retirement tour, and WWE shut it down. I don't blame him for shutting it down. Edge does have a big part of John Cena's career, but John Cena's career is John Cena's career, regardless if Edge wrestles in the final match or not. Yes, they had a great feud. Yeah, Rated R Superstar. It was one of the things that elevated Edge into being main event. His lady Lita was cheating on Matt. We ain't gonna go there, but still, sure. But at the same time, you work for another company. WWE is not going to do that. Sometimes WWE does it when they get the better end of the deal. Sure, fan service is very, very important, and it can be a sweet deal for people, but you clearly left slightly upset with WWE, and I guess you thought cooler heads was going to prevail, and they were going to be like, yeah, we're going to call Edge, because we were talking about it when Cena was retiring. I didn't really care to see Edge and John Cena again. One, they don't wrestle like they used to. Two, Edge be trying to wrestle too long. Three, John Cena, but he ain't John Cena if you get what I'm saying. So I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad that we didn't get to see Edge versus him one more time. I'm not mad at that. I was cool with seeing AJ, Orton, Punk. I was cool with the small things he did with Dominik, and then the Gunther and the stuff with Cody could have been better. Like the run could have been better, but I don't think Edge would have helped it, in my opinion. Edge already in the Hall of Fame. Oh shoot, he is in the Hall of Fame. God dang it, he already is in the Hall of Fame. Thank you, S&P. I forgot. Dang, I forgot. He really is. I forgot. They definitely put him in the Hall of Fame. They put him in the Hall of Fame as quick as he retired. He is already in the Hall of Fame. So okay, it makes more sense. My bad. That makes more sense on why he will retire in AEW. Like he's hit the highest pinnacle in professional wrestling for a lot of people in the WWE. I definitely forgot he was in the Hall of Fame. I remember him giving thanks to his mom. I low-key watched it. I watched it. And I love that his mom encouraged him and the stuff he said. It was low-key emotional. I definitely watched it. My bad. He is already in the Hall of Fame. So now if they do put Edge and Christian, which they should, just like they should put the Dudleys and the Hardy Boys, hopefully that works out. Maybe that'll be a way he'll come back on television, WWE television. He is definitely in the Hall of Fame. I can't believe I forgot that. Hey man, people mess up. But this is why we live. We have live reactions, live emotions, and live apologies. Bars. Yeah, going back into the Edge thing, I'm not upset or mad at for WWE for not wanting to have Edge on WWE television as an AEW wrestler going against a WWE legend, basically. A legend and a legend. Sure, Edge is a legend. He has a shirt that says legend, but it's spelled L and then Edge and then Gen. We get it, bro. We get what you're doing. Dudleys are inducted too. God dang it. They are definitely inducted. Hardys are inducted? I don't know. They just got inducted. So yeah, I think the Dudley boys, they just had their last match against the Hardys in TNA. So, Yeah, I think the last hurrah for Edge is, if he does go to WWE, it'll be to um be with the Edge and Christian, just like Booker T is inducted, and Harlem Heat was also inducted, and then even Booker T's wife Charmel was inducted as well. So you get what I'm saying? So yeah, forgive me about the induction in the Hall of Fame, man. I fell out of even being interested in the Hall of Fame ceremonies. When Triple H took about an hour and 50 to speak, I was like, okay, if this ain't the most egotistical thing. But anyway, still, they're definitely inducted. But I wasn't upset with that. Another thing that Ed said was he said that WWE has become like, during his contract and stuff ending, basically it was like it was overproduced, over rehearsed. They put handcuffs on you and you couldn't do certain things. My thoughts on that: they've been doing that before TKO was taken over. Not saying that he's implying that TKO is the reason, but WWE's been doing this for the longest. You got a lot of wrestlers in the 80s and the 70s and some of the WWF and all kind of stuff. They was already saying that these kind of things was already happening. So, like, what else is new about that? Like, even with TKO stepping in, of course, they're going to try to control certain things. It's their money. They paid for it. Do I think that they shouldn't have certain saves with certain things? Yes, but it's their money. Like, like, how many people would buy something and from a store or something, and then the store or the customers are going to try to tell you how to run your thing with the money that you bought? Nah, if I want to sell it, I'm going to sell it. I want to do whatever I want to. But with that being said, I do think Edge was definitely one of those ones who didn't need that creative control that people be praying about. For example, I'm looking at some of his matches, like, before he left WWE. They were too long. Why were they so long? The greatest match ever, whatever he had with Randy Orton. I was talking to my homies, and he messed up he tore a body part off, a tear. He had a tear. That was like an hour-long match. His match against Finn Balor, the I Quit match at Extreme Rules. Why was it so long? Edge beating Finn Balor. Why? Not putting that all on Edge, but I'm just saying, Edge has made questionable decisions about certain things in his career, and a lot of us were emotional and happy to see him come back and wrestle, because that injury, that neck injury, when they said he wasn't ever going to ever wrestle again, a lot of us was just like, man, you know, it is dope. And I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the biggest Edge fan. I'm not. I won't sit here and say he's like the greatest wrestler of all time. In my opinion, he wouldn't even be in my top 10. But still, I think the man has a lot of accolades and stuff. And it was very emotional to see him crying, like eyes watering and stuff, because he came back at the Royal Rumble. So I'm doing good. We talking about wrestling, man. We talking about Edge and Dominik Mysterio. So still, like, I've seen things where it's just like, you know, obviously they were happy to have him back, and obviously they let him do some things he wanted to do. One of those things was wrestle 30 and 45-minute matches. His matches would be longer than the main event. Sometimes it's not a good thing. A lot of times it's not a good thing. Do you get what I'm saying? And even now, when you fast forward to AEW, look at all of his matches. He's doing hardcore stuff and climbing ladders and stuff, and he don't need to be doing that at that big age of 50-something. Like, he literally broke his leg because he wanted to jump off the cage onto Malachi Black. The bad part was, he didn't jump off the cage. He literally fell off the cage, and when he fell off the cage, he tried to catch himself with his leg and wound up breaking his leg. The table dang near didn't even break, and he wound up messing his leg up, and he had to vacate the TNT title. Edge do be having a lot of long matches that don't need to be relatively long. I understand he's trying to make up for time lost from the neck injury and surgeries and stuff, but still, preserve your legends. Tell him no. It's okay to tell people no sometimes when it comes to certain things, and certain things when it comes to, I'm telling you, it's okay. It's definitely okay. He's definitely one of those ones for sure. Like him talking about WWE and somebody asked him and speaking about it, I'm like, okay, well, I see why WWE said no with a lot of the things, because some of the things, like, no offense to Gangrel, but Edge wanted to bring Gangrel back for a WWE part of his show for like the Judgment Day feud, and WWE said no. And then they brought him back for AEW, and it's something that will work better for AEW than WWE. Then against Gangrel, I'm saying that again, but still. But yeah, I did want to speak about that for a bit about the Edge thing. He ain't really saying nothing too crazy or per se like out of line or whatever. Sometimes it's stuff that we've known for the most part. But the thing of him like retiring at AEW, I definitely see him doing that, especially because they're letting him do a lot of stuff, and he looks like he's having fun. I might not be a fan of him, especially Mr. 619s and doing certain things, but he's definitely having fun. A lot of people have fun in AEW. That could be a good or a bad thing. Dominik Mysterio, I wanted to speak about him. A lot of people are saying he's getting punished, he's getting depushed. They're going to put him in catering because of his tweet about I'm just here so I won't get fined. They're saying that, he said that after he went against Danhausen, and it was the human money's on the pole match. Like, that sounds crazy. Like, human money is on the pole match, and he lost it. He lost a lot of matches. He just lost to Dragon Lee, and when I looked at Cage match, he's been losing since June, and I believe he's the mega champion still. So people are like, he's frustrated allegedly that he's getting treated better in AAA, but not in WWE. Yeah, they didn't want to be his own thing. WWE being like Beyonce divas. That wouldn't happen. It definitely wouldn't have happened. It definitely wouldn't have. Anything from AEW, WWE is not trying to invest, and they're not trying to work with. Even if it could be best for business, they're definitely not trying to do something to where they are helping AEW elevate, because some people will look at that and be like, oh, Edge wrestles there, let me look at the AEW website and try to follow what's going on. But yeah, after his loss at SummerSlam, Dominik made a tweet, or he shared a beam saying, I'm just here so I won't get fined. You guys remember Marshawn Lynch, the football player? He said that big on answering questions during interviews, and NFL made a thing where you would get fined if you don't answer. So that was his thing. They would ask him a question and he said, I'm here so I won't get fined. So basically that's a key towards Dominik saying, basically, I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do so I don't get fined. So some people are saying that WWE is punishing him, or they've been punishing him because he has been losing a lot, and nothing against Dragon Lee, but losing to him, a lot of people was just like, okay, he must be getting punished. I'll say this. You got to always watch what you post. Don't matter who you are and stuff like that. You have to watch it. People be like, freedom of speech. Sure, but it's no freedom of consequences. And I think that's just one of those things is with this. Can he be in a rut? Yes. You can lose at one company and be successful at another. A lot of wrestlers do that, especially on the independent scene. But it is what it is. Dom's going to be fine. He might retire in Mysterio after his AAA run. He's going to get some more. Yeah, I don't personally think he's going to be fired for tweeting that. Maybe they want him to fall in line, but I don't think they're going to let him go because Dominik is money. Can I understand his frustrations with losing to Danhausen? Yes, because Danhausen is a comedy relief. So, I'm sure a lot of wrestlers probably want to lose to him. One, because Danhausen is smaller and he does the "you are cursed" point thing. So I can see it, especially coming off of a horrible segment with Joe Hendry and Danhausen. I believe that you are cursed. Like, I don't know why y'all did that, but still. So going through all that and then having to lose to him in a match that sounds as ridiculous as human money's on the pole match, I can see why Dominik posted that. Now, are they punishing him for that? Who knows? But WWE is definitely known to do that. I do think that Dominik should be the one to retire his father. I know he beat his father before on Raw or something. I really wish that didn't happen. I really wish the moment would have been at WrestleMania where he defeated his father. But he can defeat him again. Should have been a good match. They had a great match last time. Dominik is money, in my opinion. This man flipped the whole world upside down. They was booing him. People were booing him when he was a good guy because it was like, oh, they're trying to be the next Ray, and we love Ray. You'll never be Ray. And then the Judgment Day stuff, that really helped him. He turned on Edge and Ray, which is cool when you think about it, because I'm speaking about both guys that were part of the segment. But still, the segment it was a little cringy. I watched a little bit of it. Like WWE, even with Vince, they have a habit of running things to the ground, and that's what it is with Danhausen. It's like they're teeter tottering with it. But some of the stuff it is funny. I believe that you are cursed. Eh. Still, that's to be honest, him being a Mysterio, being an A champion these days. And it is, yeah, he's still very young and he has room to grow. And even his tweet, if they are punishing him for that, he still has time to grow and learn from saying that. You probably shouldn't speak about your company that you work for on a public platform. Just saying. But I don't think they're gonna like let him go or like take him off television. He might take more ills and stuff like that. Shoot, that might be part of his gimmick and stuff. But we'll see. We'll see. Um, yeah, I wanted to speak about that. Let me know what you guys think about Edge's comments. So, do you think that WWE is punishing Dominik Mysterio? Let me know. I still remember when he debuted that Lucha hoodie. So he grew during the time. Yeah, he definitely grew. He lost a lot of weight too. Like he was a big dude. Like when you look at Lucha Underground, because he was on Lucha Underground and a part of a couple segments. When you look at that, you be like, man, this dude used to look like that. But still, let me know what you guys think of Dominik Mysterio on the WWE and Edge of WWE. I hope you guys and gals have a wonderful day. This is Chris Classic. Let's take it home.